environmental education background to move to another organization that was related to do with issues of the environment. So somewhere in September, I began my internship consultants as an associate at Westmaster. So this organization was basically more into healthcare waste management and hazardous waste management, as they have continued to date. Then when I was consulting, it was more of finance, operations, and also marketing. After having consulted in those areas, the last day of placement was 17th of December 2016. After placement ended, the director of that company approached me and asked me if I could extend for another 2 weeks in that placement, which was leading towards 29th December 2016. So I allowed myself and challenged myself that I could extend another 2 weeks after the international program had closed, and we had wound up, gotten our certificates, and that was it. Then from 29th, I was asked to say, since we are busy in this festival period, can you report on 2nd of January 2017, so that we can just have an understanding and if you wish to extend your internship and this placement. So 2nd of January, that was 2017, I went ahead to go and receive my 1-year-long internship to allow me now to get to understand, apart from the operations and also marketing and finance, to begin to understand the environmental side of the business. So for 1 year, I interned in that company and got to get exposed to a number of activities under waste management. Then from waste management, it escalated into issues of environmental consultants. With the degree that I had, the company saw it fit that I could actually be given both positions to run, because I had an understanding of operations and marketing, then at the same time environmental background. So somewhere in 2018, then I was given both titles to run the operations of a company and also manage the environment in terms of all projects that the company is engaging in and also consulting. So from 2018 to date, we have continued to run with this company. Opportunities that I've had in the last 3 years, this is now my 4th year. If we include the 1-year-long internship, it adds up to 5 years of being in one placement. I've had an opportunity to travel countries to basically consult in countries like Malawi that are not so much advanced in terms of the environmental management policies and issues. Then at the same time, I've been to Zimbabwe to try and understand the environmental management acts and begin to critique and see how best we can collaborate as Zambia and Zimbabwe when it comes to issues of the environment. Then in these same 3 years of my placement in that particular organization, I've actually got to learn a number of issues that have exposed me to sit on committees like the Medical Waste Project and also Ministry of Health, where we are consulting as a company but also as an individual to do with the waste management. Then when you look at all these titles, a Geoffrey of today, it spans back to the time when I was in university. When I was in university, I got to involve myself in a number of volunteer positions and also opportunities. When you look at the time that mostly famous for the Kainguketed vacation, so this was a vacation that was caused as a result of riotous behavior by students, and we were going to be out on indefinite closure. We did not know when we were going to open. During that time, most of the students did not know what to do, and they stayed home for quite a long period of time. But for me and a colleague of mine, Julius, we had an opportunity to use that vacation, which was indefinite, to grow our skills in terms of environment. So we worked with BCP as interns. We would walk distances, but just trying to understand the environmental sector and how it operated. Then, you know, BCP is organized to do sustainable eco-charcoal and all these activities around alternatives to charcoal. Then an attachment which I did before the closure that happened was to do with forest management under Lusaka District Forest Department. So now I began to view things from both the regulator side and also from an NGO sector in terms of how you can manage issues of the environment. As years went by, I also got to involve myself in outreach programs. So when you combine all these outreach programs, the business world and regulatory information, you find that they make a blend of a human being that you begin to see as they are eventually. For majority of the students that did not volunteer their time when they were in university, for majority of the students that waited until they graduated, the biggest problem has been they have not networked and they don't see any opportunities after they graduate because they will not accept to get 1,500. They are graduates, they hold a degree. But for somebody who is a University of Zambia student and they are on internship where they are devoting their time of maybe 4 to 6 hours in a particular day, and you are offered 1,500 kwacha, it was enough to see you the next day and probably look like you are making it as a student. But it was only 1,500 kwacha that we were earning at that particular time. The amount of information that we learned as interns in that organization, when we add the experiences of 6 months, the experiences of 4 months of internship at Forest Department, and the other networks that we had created, we are graduating not only with a degree in environmental education, but with years of compounded experience gained from various volunteer activities that we had engaged in. And I think for me, that sticks as one of the opportunities that gave me the job that I have today as operations and environmental manager.
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Having talked about where we are now, I would now like us to focus on the challenge that graduates have out there in society now. We know there are a lot of graduates that don't have opportunities, are not working. What advice can we now give them to try and see some light at the end of the tunnel? Because it's either despair or hope. So what advice can we give them so that they have hope to a bright future? Now we'll start with you, Joe.
For me, the deed has already been done. So we cannot reverse what has already passed, but we can change.
The deed being?
The deed being failing to find attachments when you were still a student, accepting minimum, but gaining experience that was going to help them. So that has already passed. But the graduates now have an opportunity to change the future because it's in their hands. So what I mean is, for those graduates that have stayed 2 years, 3 years, and opportunities are not coming, accept whatever the corporate world will offer and see how that can build your resume. Then once your resume has been built to a certain level, opportunities are going to be present in your networks and also different other spheres. So for graduates that are not doing anything right now, do not sit back, because you will sit for quite a long period to come, because there are others who are willing to get the little but gain the experience. So begin to make yourself available for internship as a graduate. Then once you intern enough, then you can see the opportunities that are presented in the corporate world that we are all but commenting on.
Okay. Thank you for that. Michael?
Okay, for me this is a personal bias. I think we need to reach a point where we understand that we are faced with a myriad of challenges, both from the social perspective, the economy, and also just in our day-to-day activities. So the key for me would be invest in your mental health. This is something that people really need to take serious, especially with the challenges that the country faces and also the challenges that we continue facing at the individual level. You're faced with so many expectations that you're a graduate, and those might even come with other underlying challenges that you're presented with at the personal level, away from you being a graduate. Because with everyone, I think any person that goes to school or even just attends any form of tertiary education or schooling, we believe that we're supposed to live even just an average of what life is supposed to be. By this I mean meeting your daily needs, meeting your wants and everything. So transitioning between that period requires you to just be sober-minded and straightforward, understanding that this is the path that you're going to face. It might not be easy for some. Others might have the privilege of getting employment or even just raising capital funds. And this is the other aspect that I need to also just emphasize on, that it's not just about you working. There are other avenues that you can create. For instance, me and Julius are the same year. We graduated the same year, did almost the same courses. He was with Impact Hub, but we met and we structured something that worked for over a year. We used to host online events, workshops, pro bono. We never expected anything in return, but this is something that today you'll be walking and someone walks up to you, they tell you they benefited, learned something, and they would want you to continue doing that. And others it's consultancy, but you never know the opportunities you might be creating for yourself. We are living in a situation where social media is quite robust. I think you can have a page of your own. You can start building on something. You don't need money, actually. That's something that we need to move away from, because if you start looking at money, I don't think you've got the liability that's going to give you access to any of that money, no matter how good your proposal might be. You might be a fresh graduate, but do you have the liability that other people might be looking at? Do you have what it takes for you to convince a bank or a financing firm for them to give you money? There are chances it might work or it might not. Do you have that capacity to handle risk? But the example I'll give is today for teachers. How many children are not attending schools? What is stopping you with the same content that you learned in Nelta, Tunza, to move door to door and just talk to these clients that you can teach them? You can earn an income. I know people that are grossing over 20,000 kwacha are doing that without even paying tax, by the way. So this is something that gives you an opportunity. It's a mindset shift towards seeing opportunities. You might not be the best in terms of having entrepreneurship skills, but you've got YouTube. You've got all this literature that's there. You can read, you've got an understanding. You gradually walked into a bank today and sat in a chair. If taught in over 6 months, you might even make the best banker. I've had seen this with people that were computer scientists that was in their bankers today. Whatever path you take, decide on a personal conviction, but also understand that our times are totally different from our clients, and our clients might never understand how things are moving today. That's a lot of pressure. But the first thing is just investing in your mental health. Have something that gives you hope and faith. It might be church, it might be a hobby. Invest in all those things. It might be a relationship. Make sure it's healthy enough for you to function. And also just execute your vision. Have a vision board. What am I supposed to be doing the next 5 years? I, for one, had a vision board in my first year. I knew that after UNZA, the next 6 months I was going to go into my master's. I continued working towards that. The next step for me now is maybe growing the business larger, engage as many institutions to come on board, see what I can do in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, and who knows what we might be doing the way we are sitting today, because these are the same opportunities that will come calling. I've got Geoffrey if I need anything to do with consultancy in terms of waste management. I've got him for networking and also just co-owning space to work from. You might not have an office, but he offers space, which is something that you can easily access. We need to understand that at this stage we need to take away competition, envy. We would rather win as a team than lose as individuals, and this is something that I believe in. The moment we change our mindset and understand that this is not UNZA where we used to compete for grades, we are living life now. This is a reality strike. We need to understand that you can reach out. There's no shame. Actually, there's no shame. You can walk to your friend, find someone you trust. Others might spill your beans, but that's their problem. It's not yours. It's a people problem that's there. But invest in even these adult relationships. There's someone you can walk to. You can go to church. You can strike a conversation. People love it that way. You can listen to adults and see what they're telling you, and also just ask on how others are doing it. You shouldn't hide it and have the pride first thing that I'm a graduate and how is Geoffrey doing it as operations manager. That's his race. Yours might even start 10 years from now, but you end up at the same point, and I believe it's self-actualization which we're all aiming for, because riches and money will never be enough, or even these titles and qualifications. Some of us, this is the end of us going to school, but it's what we're going to have as impact that we'll live with for the rest of our lives, and I believe it's the time that we need to step up and change the narrative, actually.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that. Mine.
First of all,
what advice? What advice can you put out there?
First of all, I totally agree with Geoffrey and Michael. I would just like to add that for me, it's the small things. As someone that has sat on both the interviewer's end of the table and the interviewee's end of the table at one point, I was lucky enough to experience such. It's the very little things that we tend to put at the back of our minds. It's the little instructions in, first I would start with those of us that are seeking employment. So you graduated and you're looking for employment. It's the small things. It's how you draft your CV. Is it making sense? If I didn't know you and I took a look at it, will it make sense to me? Your cover letter. There is a big difference between an application letter and a cover letter. Even I did not know that. But yes, there is a difference. And these are the challenges that recruiters are facing. And every day, a lot of people will come to my desk and ask, Unza graduates, what are you guys learning? I'm like, but well, you know, I mean, they try, but you know, you try and defend your people. And I know these are things that nobody will really sit down with you to teach you, but there's so many opportunities out there to learn. I made mention of the Conservation Careers Fair earlier. We usually have master classes to teach these things. And people will be like, why are you teaching these things to graduates? Well, it's because there is a need. Recruiters are asking questions. Why are these applicants applying like this? It's a simple instruction. The instruction, put this, the most basic thing, writing an email, is something that even I struggled with when I started with my attachment. But over time, it's something that I learned because I have to constantly do it. And obviously, I have to learn. I'm not just going to keep making the same mistakes. That doesn't work. So you keep practicing, and you don't have to go. I think one of the two mentioned investing in social media. These are things you can easily Google. A lot of the times I find myself in a spot and I'm like, you know what, I'll go to Google and find out, because you don't have to wait and sit in a class to learn certain things. So if you're looking for a job, that is something that I can put out there as advice. Another thing is, I've seen a lot of people keep applying for jobs. Whatever comes your way, you just apply, and then you keep getting rejected. That affects you as a person. To some extent, it makes you feel a certain way. Why am I not good enough? Well, are you applying for the right jobs? Are you, like, this is a very niche program. You can't just take it anywhere. Of course, there are certain applications that will be open and just say, I think social sciences, we fit in there. But you can't just, your environmental education, it's an accounting position and you apply and you're rejected and you feel bad. I feel like that is not okay. That is not, you laugh now, but these are things that people have actually put on the table and say, why did this person apply for this? And it's sad for you, and also it's a lot of work for the person on the other end. Here's someone that is receiving 600, that's an exaggeration, maybe 200 applications a day. I must go through the environmental educator when I'm looking for an accountant. It's a lot. People don't even look at these things. So it's your email, how you are writing your this one time, I'm just saying, someone told me in the subject form, in the subject, the header, someone put the whole email in there and just attached. And it's the small things, really. You forget to attach your letter or your CV, and you don't follow up, and now you're like, but you didn't get back to me. You didn't apply, you didn't attach the documents. That is for the people that are applying for employment. And for people like Michael and Julius that have decided, well, we're taking our own paths and we're going to create something of our own. Obviously, it's challenging. Some of us will never dare. So big ups to you too. So I feel like the little I have to say about that is there is a lot of potential for environmental education, especially in Zambia. If we've ever needed it, we need it more now. There is a lot of need, and there are so many opportunities, because this, again, like I said, is pioneering work. A lot of things have not been done here, but they're being done somewhere else, and you want to do it. Like Julius had to get an idea from somewhere else, and he needed to make it work here, and he made it work. So I feel like my advice is just be open-minded and also work on yourself. The little things, show up on time, look presentable, speak well to people, leave an impression. These are very small things that people will be like, well, it doesn't matter, but I can attest and say it does. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
The little things with huge consequences.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Julius, what advice do you have?
Well, part of the things have already been mentioned, but I'll maybe start with appearance. So what you look like is what you are. and how that determines how you are selling yourself out there for opportunities, whether it is employment or it is just being invited for certain business opportunities or partnerships. So how you appear matters, and this is not just how you dress, because you may give an excuse, oh, I don't have a job so I can buy a suit, you know. There is second-hand clothing and everything, so that's not a valid excuse. You can just go in town and buy cheap clothes and then. So if you have been invited to certain tables, remove those preconceptions that, okay, I'm not at their level, I'm not So for you, you have to be confident even with the little information that you have. When you graduate, the only experience that you have or traction that you've built over time is that of doing internships or attachments and those voluntary opportunities that you get to do. So how you talk about those matters, because when you find people that say, oh, I worked in the bank for the past 10 years, so even you, if you want to fit in, you say, oh, actually at the University of Zambia, I was part of Unzaseda and we used to do this and this and that. And I was given this role, I was the Secretary General, or I was part of this, even being a committee member in those small associations, the way you just come out matters. And that's something that I've learned, because when you are talking to people who are so much experienced, the thing is that certain things, they've forgotten. So when you start talking about those things, you are kind of like refreshing their mind, and what you are essentially doing is close the intergenerational gap. And for me, how I have done it is to befriend people who are older, the 50s, the 40s, and those who are younger. Those who are older, it's very simple. These that have contacts, connections, and everything, the older. But they don't have time and energy. So my currency is energy. Coming into the partnership for Impact Up Plus, I had no money, I've never put in money in short. What I've put in is time, energy, and thinking. These are the only tools that I had to bring to Impact Up. I've never put in any money. And that's how you position yourself when you're graduating, because if you say, I want money, and then the money doesn't come. And then as you are seeking opportunities, befriend those who are behind you, because those become what I call the announcers. So these announce Julius before he even sees a certain opportunity. They'll reach out to you, oh, you are Impact Hub, we saw something connected to Impact Hub, social innovation. These are the ones who are going to tell you, say, oh, there's this, there's that. So you have to position yourself that way. And then you need people at your level, your friends. These are the accountability partners. Oh, you said you're going to start this. Have you started? You said you're doing this. How has that gone? How far? So you need to position yourself even as you're looking for opportunities. You can't be looking for a job and most of your friends in the circle are not looking for opportunities. They've given up, and then you just become one of them, become like everyone else. So it's also about positioning. I call it strategic positioning. How you position yourself matters a lot. And for me, deliberate, I said let me not test money, because this route of you can test, you can comment on this. When you test money, that 15,000 kwacha, 10,000 kwacha, doing what I do, it's not easy. You can give up in 1 month. Yeah, because the thing is, when you graduate, you find a 1 year, 2 years contract, then you are getting. So these things may sound funny, but things.
It's the truth.
Yeah, because
the truth.
You are supposed to go when you are working. Your job may allow you to go to a certain meeting using Orlando, but then you graduate, you realize that actually you don't have that 100 kwacha to go to town. You need to jump on a bus like everyone else, because your budget can only manage 12 kwacha, 15 kwacha. So you have to understand all those things. So for me, I had to say, okay, maybe let me not test money, and then just get the experience and everything. For me, what I speak about proudly is the network that I have. The network that I have, in short, I can't go hungry. I don't have money, but what I have are contacts. If I've run out, let's say if I were to run out of food, there are people I can call who can give me a 1,000 kwacha, a 2,000 kwacha for free, not to pay back, for free. It's because of the way I have created and the networks. And it's also when you are going in the the entrepreneurship route, if you don't want to get employment, like I'll go back to appearance. You create relationship based on, yes, they are higher than you in ranking, in resources and everything, but how you position yourself matters. Because if you are going there as a prospect partner on a certain initiative, that means that if you went to a certain meeting, you walked or you used public transport on a bus, after the meeting, it's just good manners in business that you don't ask for transport. They may have resources, but you don't do that. You don't also ask, you are talking about partnering, and then you go like, oh, in this company, can't you employ me? You don't do that. Even if you're unemployed, you don't do that. So those are some of the tactics that you have to start learning when you are going in the self-employment route. Because what happens that, for example, I have people who would reach out to me and say that, oh, there's this job, we don't want to go through the application letters. Just recommend something, handpick, we need an intern. And I'll just go through my contact, pick a phone call and tell the person to send the CV and they'll have the opportunity. So it is because of the way I've positioned myself. And I feel others can do the same, because for me, when I was starting this journey, one of the motivating factors is that for me, I feared the wrath of poverty. Because when this thing, so-called connections, I don't have relatives who are directors or whatever who are going to say, oh, I'm going to give you a job or anything. So I had to create all the contacts on my own from scratch. And the fear of not making it also made me to just be resilient enough, be determined, and knowing that if I don't do this, who's going to feed me? Because my sister may want me to live well and everything, but she's in Mongo. Even if she wanted, she can't send a spare bedroom to because it's not applicable. So she can just send her love. Oh, okay, everything will be okay. Blah blah blah, and stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, it's me who has to find these opportunities for myself. And then, as people are looking for opportunities, I'm sure, or I suspect that you have mentors or people you look up to. These people, they position themselves also very powerful, and they represent a picture, or they represent the progress of where we're going. But one thing we forget is that they can only show us the door, but they'll never open it and allow us to go through it. They can show us everything, or sometimes they may even open the door for you. That is maybe pushing you as far as the interviews. But it's up to you what you say in those interviews matters. Like what you're saying. What you say in the interviews matters. How you draft the application letters, cover letter, everything, that's up to you. And let's say they've been given that opportunity to work. The mentor moves out of the picture. It's up to you how you apply yourself and how you network. Because if you give me an opportunity, 2, 3, 4, 5 years contract, I'm not supposed to come back to you and say, oh, Mr. Mentor, the contract finished, now I'm looking for another one. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, connect me again. It doesn't work like that. So in that time when you create that opportunity, you have to apply yourself, be as relevant as you can be, sell yourself, and be true to the process, and understand what you're doing. For me, it's about acceptance. Environmental education, I accepted one thing. I'm a facilitator. That's me, nothing else. And what I do is just about facilitating processes. But it's about being innovative. Facilitating what? What are the unique ways of facilitating? So understanding that I'm a facilitator, and the biggest weapon that I have is the methodology of facilitating has brought me this far. And that has helped me in just knowing quite a lot of things because of the way I have applied myself. I've been as professional as I can be in almost any relationship. And that has made me to be who I am, and it has sort of like become my brand because of the way I talk, the way I view things, the way I even advise people who come to me, because I do have people who come to me that, oh, we need help. There's this opportunity, they need a CV, they need a letter, whatever, what do we say? Even friends at my level come to me for advice. I have this interview, because based on what I have gone through, they'll be like, oh, okay, I've interviewed with the USA guy, so what do I say? Because for me, my work has allowed me to gain the confidence in terms of speaking and also in terms of representing myself. The caliber of people I meet and talk to is up there, and that somehow gives me the confidence and the legitimacy to claim that I can help others, because I have built something from scratch. I had no business experience, but then I had to lead the team in building Impact at Lusaka, which is a business, and my prospects for the future still remains or still confined to the business sector. So for me, I feel for those who are seeking opportunities, start small. When I started, it is something which certain people wouldn't want to work for. But I still started, and like what Mofia said, in the little money I was getting, my brother at the time, he suffered a stroke, meaning he was not working, but you still had to squeeze out a 200, 300 and send back home in the same little money and pay your rent. So at the end of the day, I think it's just about accepting and willing to start small. Like what Geoffrey has said, the deed has been done. Because 5-6 years ago, it would have been okay for you to get 2,000 kwacha, because maybe you had no children. Now today you have 1-2 kids, so they will need to go to school. So it now requires certain ways of looking at things. So you have to, you can start small even at this point, but maybe you can even start going part-time. Find something that you can be committing maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, but it is guaranteed that you'll be getting something out of it. There should be money involved in the formula, so that at least that becomes the traction that you use to say, okay, this is the experience or these are the opportunities. Because whether you like it or not, God is for us or each one for himself. Zambia doesn't have a lot of jobs, it is true, but it is also true that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like what the examples being given here, where you can start maybe go to door, you teach people, and everything. That's you turning the work which is there into jobs. So that's how you can then start applying yourself, looking for these opportunities. You may have done social sciences, you do not have business tools and skills or anything. You can go to these hubs. There's Impact at Lusaka ourselves, there's Bombo Hub, Jacaranda Hub, WEAC. So you can go to these hubs. There's also Nyamuka Africa. Actually, Nyamuka Africa, they're starting a program where they're supporting UNZA students in partnership with Zanaco and School of Engineering at UNZA. And I'll be one of the mentors there to support the young people on how to become entrepreneurs. So for me, I feel you have to be intentional from the word go and know what you want. Because you can't want this today and you want that the next day. You can't say that, oh, in a village I want to do the job. It doesn't work like that. Who's going to build the business? So you have to be there to build the business. You are the one who's supposed to create opportunities. You may not create jobs, but the least you can do is at least create internship or voluntary opportunities for others, because that gives them also an opportunity to create their CVs. Yeah, because I represent a global brand, and giving someone an internship opportunity at Impact at Lusaka, it means that they are associated with Impact at Lusaka, which even when they're talking to people coming from other countries where there's Impact Hub, they may easily be identified because they may be seen as one of them. So I think it's about how you just position yourself, yeah, and the willingness to determine whether you should test money now or not, because that matters a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Okay.
Cholo.
Oh,
Piece of advice.
Advice. I agree with Julius. You need to start small. One thing I noticed that when people are applying for jobs and they get the internship, they want to get the salary of above 5,000, 6,000. I remember my first internship, I got 720 kwacha. My dad one day was like, why are you going for a job where I even getting salary as a maid? It touched me. I was like, are you sure, like salary as a maid? And for me, I sat down with my dad. I was like, I know it's 720, but I have to get the experience. If I want to have that job, I need to have a certain experience for me to skill in this environmental education program. And I worked for like 2 months with 720 and had to find money for transport, had to try to see how can I work with this 720 and what's my end goal. And it helped. And apart from saying, okay, the salary expectation is the voluntary work I used to do. I did a lot of voluntary work at Unza and Drive Africa. I used to get top time allowance, 100 kwacha out, go in the field, interview people, write articles with a 20 kwacha. It helped me say, you know what, I used to get 20 kwacha, 100 kwacha, I'm getting 720, but what am I going to get at this end of this program as an intern, environmental education intern? And it helped me to make focus. And while I was working there, I noticed there's something missing from the social media. I went to the social media, but like, okay, nothing is happening. There's no environmental education going on. And I always say this, opportunities are there even right now. Go to a social media page, see, okay, these people they're not doing marketing well, branding. Go online, go on YouTube, check how do you run a social media page. There's all lessons, EADX. Do something, just check opportunities. What is missing in this industry? And you never know, you find an opportunity there. It can be a social media intern, social media manager, just by reading, researching, just seeking opportunities. And the other thing is networking. You need to network. Networking is very important. I can't lie. When I did an interview, the person is my operations manager. The first thing is like, oh, Chola, I remember you from Women in Conservation. That job I didn't qualify. But the fact that I used to attend events for women in conservation, it showed that I have interest. So you need to network, go to these events, meet people, meet high profile people. Tell yourself, oh, I have interest in this is what I do. You never know, they'll call you, okay, Chole, there's an internship program, please kindly apply. For example, Tawanda, she got a call, oh, Tawanda, there's an internship program, kindly apply, because she used to network. So you network, go for these events, meet people, talk, don't just hide yourself, talk. Don't have to go in this networking, you're just sitting there at the corner, nice. You go with Minor, you want to talk to Minor the whole day. No, meet someone new. You never know, through those conversations, something can happen. You may make partnership, you never know, you can start a business through those networking programs like Ladies in Designing. They came for an event here and they network. After that event, something happened, they have Tivale more. So networking is really important. You don't have to expect to find a job, you're just there sitting at home. Just network and see opportunities. And also have to agree with mine, the way you write a CV and your cover letter, guys, it needs to invest. I see application that is like, a CV, it's not clear. As me as a manager, I have to wondering, okay, maybe she means this. They don't have time. So invest in writing CVs and cover letters. So as the person sees it, it's like, wow, okay, I think she's the right person. They won't even have time to read other CVs. So invest in small things, network, CVs, do online trainings, a lot of online trainings that you can do, the missing gaps, graphic design, go on a social media page, like, the graphic design don't make nice posters. Invest. Do a part-time job, get 2,000 just being a social media person. Just you being creative, putting nice hashtags. You never know, sure you get a job from there. So it's about yourself, investing in yourself and seeing opportunities. That's my advice.
Thank you so much for that. We've spent a long time discussing, ladies and gentlemen. But I can safely say that the amount of knowledge, wisdom and advice that you've given is profound. And I hope the people out there that are looking for hints and opportunities actually learn something from what you have shared. So thank you so much to all of you for coming. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experiences. And we hope this knowledge and experience will make a difference to everyone. For those that are watching us and this particular discussion, thank you for tuning in, and we hope to come with more content on how we can help each other out there. Thank you so much.